Yo, how's it going, guys? It's Wolf from Reverse, and today we're going to be listening to the audio of a YouTuber who goes by the name of Ring Rivals. I'll leave a link to his page in the comments, so you guys, if you want to go actually check out the actual video, you could do that there. But yeah, basically, what the video is going to be talking about today is why these wrestlers will never make it into the WWE Hall of Fame. Let's go ahead and begin.
The Hall of Fame is regarded as WWE's most prestigious honor, which includes an elite club of the absolute best and most celebrated wrestlers, announcers, managers, and celebrities. However, some notable figures will always remain omitted, whether due to backstage controversies, legal troubles, or a tarnished legacy. Here are the WWE Superstars who, for various reasons, will never be in the Hall of Fame. One half of the legendary British Bulldogs, Dynamite Kid, is widely regarded as one of the most technically gifted wrestlers of all time. His groundbreaking technical style revolutionized professional wrestling, paving the way for smaller wrestlers to thrive in an industry dominated by giants, and his influence is evident in the work of legends like Bret Hart and Bryan Danielson. Unfortunately, he will always be more remembered for the dark side of his life rather than his contributions in the ring. Dynamite Kid was infamous for being a backstage bully who was known for creating a toxic environment in the locker room. His personal life was equally troubled, marred by allegations of domestic violence against his ex-wife, and allegedly threatened her with a gun right in front of their children. Furthermore, his strained relationship with Vince McMahon ensured that he left WWE on bad terms. On top of these issues, his relentless and punishing wrestling style took a toll on his body, ultimately leaving him paralyzed and confined to a wheelchair in his later years. Dynamite passed away in 2018 at the age of 60, and while his former tag team partner, the British Bulldog, was honored with a Hall of Fame induction in 2021, Dynamite Kid's controversies have made it highly unlikely he will ever receive the same recognition. One of the first female success stories in the role of a valet is that of Miss Elizabeth. She rose to fame in 1985 as the elegant and poised manager of her real-life husband, Randy Savage. At a time when male managers dominated the scene, Miss Elizabeth stood apart, in stark contrast to her loud and intense macho man. Elizabeth's docile and gentle demeanor endeared her to fans. However, her personal life was fraught with struggles that ultimately overshadowed her career. Elizabeth's marriage to Randy Savage ended in divorce, and her subsequent relationships were marked by turmoil. Her involvement with wrestler Lex Luger led to a series of highly publicized incidents, including allegations of domestic violence. Tragically, Miss Elizabeth passed away on May 1st, 2003, due to acute toxicity from a mix of alcohol and prescription drugs. Despite her early death at the young age of 42, Miss Elizabeth's contributions to professional wrestling undoubtedly warrant her a spot in the WWE Hall of Fame. Without ever stepping foot in the ring, she became a cornerstone of some of the hottest angles of the 1980s. Elizabeth stood by Randy Savage's side when he won the WWE Championship and played a huge role in the legendary feud between Savage and Hulk Hogan, culminating in the Mega Powers clash at WrestleMania 5. Her emotional reunion with Savage still remains one of the most emotional moments in the company's history. So, why isn't the First Lady of Professional Wrestling still isn't in the Hall of Fame? Just 11 days after her passing, WWE controversially aired the actual 911 call made by Lex Luger, which sparked significant backlash. Reportedly, this incident deeply upset her family, who have since wanted nothing to do with WWE. This may explain why WWE has never inducted her in the Hall of Fame. When Alberto Del Rio became the first and only wrestler to win the Royal Rumble, Money in the Bank, and the WWE Championship all in one calendar year, it was clear that WWE had massive plans for him. Such accomplishments under normal circumstances would undoubtedly merit consideration for a Hall of Fame induction. However, any hopes for such an induction were dashed by Del Rio's self-destructive behavior, which ultimately resulted in his unceremonious exit from the company. In 2014, he was abruptly released by WWE after allegedly slapping a WWE employee over a racist comment. Although he returned to the company in 2015, his second run was lackluster and plagued by poor creative decisions. ultimately leading to his departure in 2016. Outside of WWE, Del Rio's personal life became a source of constant controversy. His highly publicized and toxic relationship with Paige frequently made headlines for all the wrong reasons, including allegations of abuse and volatile public arguments. But all of this was eclipsed by the events of 2020, which ultimately led to Del Rio's fall from grace. In May 2020, Del Rio was arrested on charges of battering and assaulting his girlfriend. These accusations not only brought severe legal consequences, but also dealt an irreparable blow to his reputation, ensuring that Del Rio has no place in WWE, let alone a spot in the Hall of Fame. Up next on our list is Sable. While it could be argued that Sable didn't have the kind of Hall of Fame-worthy career, but when compared to recent inductees like Tori Wilson, Stacy Keibler, and Molly Holly, Sable stands out as arguably more influential. After she made her debut as a valet alongside Triple H, Sable's star truly began to rise when she stepped into the spotlight on her own. By fully embracing WWE's edgier, more provocative direction during the Attitude Era, she became one of the company's most popular stars. Her charisma alone made her a major draw with her mere presence filling arenas. However, her work with the company was not without controversy. In 1999, Sable filed a $110 million lawsuit against WWE, alleging sexual harassment and unsafe working conditions. While the case was eventually settled out of court, it seemed unlikely that Sable would ever come back to WWE. In a surprising turn of events, Sable returned to WWE in 2003. Ironically, her storylines once again involved bikini contests and provocative segments, exactly the kind of content she had criticized WWE for in her lawsuit. Her second stint was brief, and she left the company for good in 2004. Since then, Sable has lived a relatively private life with her husband, Brock Lesnar. However, her relationship with WWE still remains uncertain to this day. Additionally, Sable has largely stayed out of the public eye since the last 2 decades, which suggests she may not be interested in being inducted in the Hall of Fame. By all appearances, it seems the feeling is mutual. Though Ivan Koloff hailed from Canada, he adopted the gimmick of a Soviet villain during the height of the Cold War, which naturally made him one of the most despised heels of his time. In January 1971, the Russian Bear faced the WWE champion Bruno Sammartino at Madison Square Garden and shocked the world by defeating him to become the 3rd ever WWE champion. At the time, Sammartino was the top star in the industry, holding the title for an astonishing 203 days, nearly 8 years. Needless to say, Koloff's victory over such a beloved champion was a monumental shock, especially for the fans packed into MSG. Koloff later recounted that the sold-out crowd went completely silent after his win, creating such a tense atmosphere that the referee advised him to leave immediately, rather than receive the championship belt in the ring to avoid a potential riot. Though his reign lasted only a month, Koloff is still a catalyst, one of the most shocking defeats in WWE history. Throughout the 1970s, the Russian Bear had memorable feuds with Bruno Sammartino, Pedro Morales, Superstar Billy Graham, and Bob Backlund. Despite these significant contributions, Koloff has yet to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. One possible reason for this omission could be his involvement in a 2015 lawsuit against WWE concerning concussion-related injuries. This legal dispute and its potential repercussions might have led WWE to distance itself from Koloff, ensuring his absence from the Hall of Fame even after his death in 2017 at the age of 74. One huge omission from the WWE Hall of Fame that continues to surprise fans is Lex Luger. Though Luger was introduced in WWE as the Narcissist in 1993, the character itself was exactly as the name suggests, a self-absorbed, vain heel with Bobby the Brain Heenan singing his praises on commentary. With Hulk Hogan's departure in 1993, WWE was in search of a new top babyface, and Luger's impressive 300-pound chiseled physique made him a natural fit. By July of that year, Luger's gimmick as the All-American, a patriotic hero, was cemented when he body-slammed the nearly 600-pound Yokozuna, a moment widely seen as the company's attempt to replicate Hulk Hogan's iconic body slam of Andre the Giant years earlier. This patriotic rise led to the launch of the heavily marketed Lex Express, which was a nationwide bus tour aimed at solidifying Luger as WWE's next big babyface. Despite this massive promotional push, Luger's momentum faltered after he failed to win the WWE Championship at SummerSlam 1993. In a shocking turn of events, shortly after wrestling at a WWE house show, Luger made a surprise appearance on the debut episode of WCW Monday Nitro in September 1995. Immediately upon his debut, he turned heel and began a high-profile feud with WCW World Champion Hulk Hogan. However, as WCW began to decline in the late 1990s, Luger's role in the company became less prominent. When WCW finally folded in 2001, many top stars from the promotion, such as Hogan, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, Goldberg, and others, made their way to WWE. However, Luger was not amongst them. Meanwhile, at the time, Luger's personal life wasn't doing any better. During his time in WCW, he met and began dating Miss Elizabeth, but tragically, in May 2003, the First Lady of Professional Wrestling passed away in Luger's home. While her death was ruled accidental, it deeply destroyed Luger's reputation, who was arrested shortly after when authorities discovered a significant amount of illegal substances in his home. To add to his personal turmoil, in 2007, Luger suffered a spinal stroke, which left him temporarily paralyzed. Though he embarked on a long and difficult recovery journey, he was able to regain some mobility, but he now spends much of his time confined to a wheelchair. Though Luger is certainly worthy of a Hall of Fame induction, his connection to Miss Elizabeth's tragic death in 2003 has been a major hindrance. WWE hardly ever mentions him, and it's unlikely he will ever take a spot in the Hall of Fame. The 1980s were all about larger-than-life babyfaces, who captured the hearts of everyone, but their immense popularity wouldn't have been possible without equally compelling villains. One such iconic heel of that era was King Kong Bundy. He is best remembered for his dominant 55-day undefeated streak and for headlining WrestleMania 2 in 1986, where he faced Hulk Hogan in a steel cage match for the WWE Championship. He would take a 6-year hiatus from WWE before making a return in 1994. During this run, he notably faced The Undertaker at WrestleMania 11, becoming another victim of the dead man's undefeated streak, given that Bundy belonged to the Golden Era, a time that is often celebrated for its nostalgic value. His omission from the Hall of Fame remains particularly surprising. What makes his exclusion even more puzzling is that Bundy passed away in 2019, which many believed would prompt the company to finally induct him posthumously, as is often done for legends. Unfortunately, even after his death, Bundy has not been recognized. The reasons for this omission may lie in Bundy's strained relationship with WWE, particularly his grievances over not receiving the WWE Championship, which he claimed had been promised to him by Vince McMahon. Additionally, Bundy was outspoken about his treatment in later years, which may have caused WWE to shy away from celebrating his legacy. Another WrestleMania headliner who will probably never be inducted into the Hall of Fame is Bam Bam Bigelow. Despite weighing nearly 400 pounds, he was still incredibly agile, delivering high-flying moves better than talents half his weight. After a brief stint in WCW, Bigelow returned to WWE in the early 1990s, this time as a heel. His association with Luna Vachon helped him become an obnoxious heel, and he knew exactly how to get heat from the fans. Bigelow's biggest success came in 1995 when he was chosen to headline WrestleMania 11 against NFL star Lawrence Taylor. Despite Taylor's lack of wrestling experience, Bigelow helped deliver a memorable match. Sadly, Bigelow's life was cut short when he passed away on January 19, 2007, at the age of 45 due to a drug overdose, and he hasn't been inducted into the Hall of Fame to this day. His omission is often attributed to factors ranging from backstage politics to a strained relationship with WWE. Whether remembered as Mabel, Viscera, or Big Daddy V, The late Nelson Frazier was a well-recognized name in WWE during the 1990s. Weighing nearly 480 pounds, his most memorable run came as Mabel that brought him a major push. His big break came in the year 1995 when he won the King of the Ring tournament and later even challenged WWE champion Diesel at SummerSlam. However, his massive push was short-lived due to concerns about his stiffness in the ring. Nonetheless, by 1998, he reinvented himself as Viscera and joined The Undertaker's Ministry of Darkness faction. Later, he transitioned into the comedic yet bizarre role of the world's largest love machine, and finally became Big Daddy V during his run on WWE's ECW brand. Even after leaving WWE, he continued to work on the independent scene, but had to slow down because of his deteriorating health. But sadly, just 4 days after his 43rd birthday, Big Daddy V passed away from a sudden heart attack. While Mabel indeed had a memorable career in WWE, his induction into the Hall of Fame remains uncertain for several reasons. One big factor that is unbeknownst to many is that 1 year after his passing, his wife filed a wrongful death lawsuit against WWE. The lawsuit alleged that WWE had misinformed Frazier and other wrestlers about the risks associated with concussions and CTE. According to the suit, Frazier suffered from severe short-term memory loss, migraines, and depression, all of which contributed to his premature death. Though the lawsuit was dismissed by the court, it's highly unlikely that WWE will ever induct him in the Hall of Fame. When the ninth wonder of the world, China, made her WWE debut in 1997 as the bodyguard for Shawn Michaels and Triple H, and later became the enforcer of D-Generation X, nobody could have predicted the immense success that awaited her in the male-dominated industry. To understand just how much success China achieved, it's clear that many records, starting with First Woman 2, are tied to her name. In 1999, she made history as the first woman to enter the Men's Royal Rumble. She competed at the King of the Ring, became the #1 contender for the WWE Championship, and almost challenged Stone Cold Steve Austin, and achieved the unthinkable by defeating Jeff Jarrett to win the Intercontinental Championship. But just as quickly as China's success soared, it came crashing down in November 2001 when she unexpectedly parted ways with WWE. While there has been no definitive explanation for her departure, China publicly claimed that it was tied to her then-boyfriend Triple H's affair with Stephanie McMahon. After leaving WWE, China attempted to rebuild her career by wrestling in NJPW and TNA. However, she never reached the same level of success she had achieved in WWE. To make matters worse, she struggled with substance abuse and eventually ventured into the adult industry years later. Tragically, China was unable to overcome her personal demons as she passed away in April 2016. Despite her pivotal role in shaping the women's division, China has not received a solo induction into the WWE Hall of Fame to this day. Though it's worth mentioning that when D-Generation X was inducted in the Hall of Fame 2019, China was included as part of the faction, but everyone has long argued that she deserves individual recognition. The reasoning behind WWE's reluctance to give China a solo Hall of Fame induction was revealed by Triple H in a 2015 interview, where he subtly cited her involvement in the adult industry as a complicating factor. He explained, "I've got an 8-year-old kid, and my 8-year-old kid sees the Hall of Fame, and my 8-year-old kid goes on the internet to look at China. What comes up? And I'm not criticizing anybody. I'm not criticizing lifestyle choices. Everybody has their reasons. I don't know what they were. I don't care to know. It's not a morality thing or anything else. It is just the fact of what it is. That's a difficult choice." Had Brian Pillman not tragically passed away long before his prime, there's no telling just how legendary his career could have become. In WCW, he and Steve Austin became World Tag Team Champions as the highly successful Hollywood Blondes. His success in WCW was just the beginning, as his loose cannon gimmick was equally iconic. In WWE, this unhinged character was ahead of its time, and led to one of the most famous, or let's just say, the most infamous moments of Pillman's career. In November 1996, during his feud with Austin, in a live segment, Pillman appeared with a gun, threatening to shoot Austin, who had broken into his home. This ended up being a huge mistake that got WWE in hot water with USA Network and sponsors. In the aftermath, parents flooded the network with complaints, and some executives even considered dropping WWE programming entirely. Advertisers began to pull their sponsorships, prompting WWE to apologize and ban the segment and ever airing again. That being said, sadly, Pillman's promising career came to an abrupt end just a year later when he passed away on October 5th, 1997, at just 35 years old. Pillman was found unresponsive in his hotel room in Minnesota, hours before he was set to compete at In Your House pay-per-view against Mick Foley. The controversy surrounding his career, coupled with his untimely death in 1997, at the young age of 35, has likely kept him from receiving a Hall of Fame induction. Owen Hart was an extraordinary talent who was equally gifted in technical skill and charisma. He followed the rest of his family into professional wrestling and arrived in WWE at the same time as his older brother Bret. One of Owen's most memorable career moments came when he turned heel on Bret, setting the stage for one of the most iconic sibling rivalries in WWE history. However, after Bret left WWE following the infamous Montreal Screwjob, the company attempted to revive Owen's Blue Blazer gimmick, but sadly, it would mark the beginning of the end. At the Over the Edge pay-per-view in May 1999, the King of Hearts tragically passed away after falling from the rafters. Needless to say, even after 25 years, it's still the gut-wrenching passing in WWE history. Since his tragic death, WWE has had a difficult time mentioning his name, let alone induct him in the Hall of Fame. The main reason for this stems from his widow, Martha Hart, who has been a vocal critic of WWE for over 2 decades. Martha has repeatedly expressed her dissatisfaction with WWE's handling of the incident, including their decision to continue with the event despite the seriousness of the situation. She has also made it clear that she does not want Owen to be inducted into the Hall of Fame as long as WWE is involved. Her firm stance on this matter has led to a strained relationship between the Hart family and the company. Given her objections, it's unlikely that Owen Hart will ever be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Now let's turn to the man who's pretty much responsible for the creation of the WWE Hall of Fame itself, Vince McMahon. Though opinions about him still remain divided, there's no denying that under his leadership, WWE transformed into the global phenomenon it is today. His work as perhaps the biggest heel of the company helped WWE defeat WCW in the Monday Night Wars. Though Vince McMahon was not widely regarded as the greatest mentor behind the scenes and was often surrounded by controversy throughout his career, he was largely accepted within the industry for who he was. However, the McMahon of today faces a legacy that has been permanently tarnished by a series of serious allegations that came to light in 2022. The initial blow came in July 2022, when the Wall Street Journal revealed that the WWE board was investigating a secret $3 million settlement McMahon allegedly paid to a former employee with whom he had an affair. This scandal was only the beginning, as further reports alleged McMahon's involvement in silencing accusations, including claims that he discouraged Ashley Massaro from speaking out about being taken advantage of during a WWE tour in the Middle East. The final nail in the coffin was the Janelle Grant scandal, which led Vince to step down as CEO of the company and announce his retirement shortly thereafter. Since then, Vince has largely disappeared into obscurity, given the bad press surrounding him and how much WWE has thrived under the leadership of Triple H and Nick Khan. It wouldn't be surprising if Vince is never inducted into the Hall of Fame. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section, and before you leave, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Ring Rivals so you don't miss the next ones.
Alright guys, same here. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. I hope you enjoyed what you heard. And like I said, that was Ring Rivals. He's a YouTuber. I will leave a description or a link to his channel in the comments. Thank you.